Alright, so for this week I returned to the animals out of food prompt. Another animal I had in my list was hermit crabs, and the food for them was carrots. This is inspired by their spiral shells, obviously. Some of the more exaggerated hermit crabs having basically conical shells. I thought that would be a good idea for the main cone of a carrot to just be the shell. And, I mean, it sounds like it should work out pretty well. It is a little difficult to convert, you know, a food into an animal properly. So I was a little confused as to how to do parts of this. Anyway, right now I was just mostly drawing some cones and like drawing the segment lines for them. I wasn't really paying full attention to my references as much as I should have. Because they definitely don't bisect regularly like this. I don't know what I was thinking. The beginning segments are very large and then they get smaller as it gets closer to the tip. But anyway, I started with these kind of basic sketches. I was trying to figure out exactly how to, you know, construct what I had envisioned in my mind. Since with the wasp, it had turned out slightly different than what I was expecting. I mean, this execution difference is very familiar with anybody that's tried art, I'm sure. But just try to avoid it this time by paying attention to the references. See, one problem I was noticing around here when I was following this reference is that the hermit crabs are very like tucked into the shells. And I wasn't really sure how that would work well with a carrot, since, you know, all the greenery, which I was expecting to make like, you know, all the limbs of the hermit crab out of, are at the very end, or at the very top, I guess, of the carrot. And so it's I wasn't sure how you would make that look like it's tucked into the top part of the carrot. This is definitely one of the prompts I would be very interested to see other people attempt, because I'm wondering if people will get pretty close to what I was kind of imagining in my head. Alright, so here I just started off with a basic cone shape, kind of made the top a little bit off center, and then did an outline of it and made it rougher on purpose, since, you know, the edges of a carrot are not perfectly straight. But yeah, this one just looks like a tall wizard hat. Then I started to make the main body of the crab. I was going to go for a more cartoony style this time. I can't stand looking back at this one leg. It looks way too much like a frog. I was struggling with trying to picture so I was looking at a carrot reference for this, for the leaves, and I was struggling to make segmented armor pieces from the grass-like stalk of the carrot. I just had no idea like what to do to kind of make it make sense, if that makes sense. Also, never really realized this before. Hermit crabs' mouths kind of weird, kind of icky. Got a lot of like little antenna tentacle things. I don't know. They look kind of freaky. The legs all look kind of spidery. I think if I redid this one again, I need to make sure that the legs are actually bigger and they are kind of clumped together, since that's kind of like, if you look at some of the references, kind of how all of them look. They just have like very large legs and they're usually all stemming from like one spot, so they're clumped very close together. This one looks way too much like a spider. But anyway, I kind of like him. He's kind of goofy looking. So when I was picking the colors for this, my screen was like very yellow because it was late at night, because I have a f.lux to make my eyes not hurt. And I think it messed with the color picking quite a bit. I do not like how saturated those colors turned out, but I end up fixing it later, so you'll see. It was around here that I started really noticing some of the mistakes I was having when observing hermit crabs, mostly being like, you know, all the legs coming from that one source and how tucked into their shells they usually are in pretty much all the photos I could find. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to try to get that feeling with this one and use the grass-like pieces of the carrot stalk just as kind of like a fluffy exterior to the hermit crab. Although, as you can see right now, just with the face, I'd be struggling. These bug eyes. It's actually really funny looking back at this. This is awesome. I do not think he looks good, but he looks funny. I kind of gave up on trying to make them look both like leaves and both like armor pieces, and decided that making them look like they're armor pieces is probably the thing to go for, and then I'll just color them green or something, call it a day. I can kind of indicate that they are like the same material as the grass by just having them be the same color, or at least close to it. Anyway, I started making the stalk piece of the carrot and outlining the rest of him. So anyway, I started coloring. I kept things simple, but I don't really think that it looks very much like vines. I probably should have pulled up another reference for that. But I do like the color choices a little bit better. It was much lighter, which ended up looking a lot better in my opinion. So I transferred them over to the other one, just to kind of see how it would look. But that's it from me. Bye-bye.